Welcome to Selfish Confidence, a place where we can connect and be real about how hard it is to be your damn self. My name is Jess, and my goal is to help you build confidence and belief in yourself to live any life path you want, even if it's unconventional. It's time to flip off societal pressures and connect with women who've also felt on the outside by their life choices. We're here to encourage you to grab the mic and speak your truth. I know it can be scary, but we're in this together. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome to this week's Confidence Corner. Oh man, I would really love to know who on live stayed up late last night waiting for the Love is Blind reunion to come on and then sadly was disappointed that it didn't come on because I did. I didn't stay up too late. I made it to I think 9:45 and I said, nah, I'm not staying up any later to watch this, even if it does come on, but I'm so curious if anyone else stayed up. I know I'm not the only one because I checked the live stream on Instagram and there was like 165,000 people watching it, waiting for this episode to come on, so I'm sure I'm not the only one. But I wanted to talk to you today not about the Love is Blind reunion because, well, we haven't seen it yet, but about slowing down. And I don't know about you, but it's something that I've always struggled with. And if you're on live and you struggle with slowing down, I see some of you, I know some of you have kids. I can only imagine that is so hard to do. But I wanted to talk about this today because yesterday I was taking some time for myself. I've been working really hard on getting all the details for this weekend's retreat. I can't even show you this side of the office because it's just filled with stuff for the retreat and I'm so excited. But it takes a lot of energy to do that. It takes a lot of brain power and motivation. And I've just been thinking and hardly sleeping for the last week, especially because I've just been so excited about it. And I want to have all the details perfect. And I know it's not going to be perfect, but I like to have everything in line. And so this weekend, I decided to give myself a little break, to close my laptop and to slow down. And Glenn was outside. Glenn's my husband. He was outside doing yard work a good chunk of this weekend. And sorry, honey, I know you're listening to this. I didn't feel guilty at all sitting inside and reading my book or cozying up on the couch with the pets because I knew that slowing down this weekend and prioritizing sleep and rest and brain power all this week is the only thing that's going to get me to have a really successful and a really powerful weekend for the retreat. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot of guilt and shame that comes from slowing down. And I felt it. Probably my whole life. I come from a really busy family, a really successful family, and I didn't know that slow down was possible. When people would ask you, oh, how are things? And you would say, busy, busy, busy. And you would be, glorifying that busy lifestyle. That's kind of what I come from, the background that I come from, a really busy family. And busy, always in my head, equaled success. And maybe you still feel that way. Being busy, being on the go all the time, having a crazy schedule, frantic running around equals success. And it wasn't until I was living in Barbados, where my husband and I lived there for a year and a bit during the pandemic, that I started to realize that wasn't what I wanted for my life. I was at a hair appointment, made a hair appointment for myself, and I couldn't drive down there. So Glenn actually had to drive me. So he was there with me. And down there, the salons are just fun because there's always people around. There's always a lot going on. And we were at a hair appointment and my hairdresser, who followed me on Instagram, who became a good friend of mine down there, she said, Jess, have you ever heard of human design? Like, it's the coolest thing. And I was like, okay, tell me about it. And that's the moment that I learned about being a projector. And for those of you who aren't into this, it's not the only reason on why I slowed down, but it was a really big eye-opening thing for me that I worked really efficiently. And this design helped me to see that I needed a lot of rest because I always had a lot of guilt around not being able to keep up in society, having to do things slower, sleeping in a lot. I never understood why I couldn't do the 5:30 a.m. wake up call, the 4 a.m. wake up call that all successful coaches did, right? I always had to do things my way, sleep a bit more, work differently. And I see you, girl. I see you, Kelly, projector life. And it never made sense to me because we live in this hustle culture. We live in this place where we always are on the go. And the more you do, the better you are. And the harder you work, the more success you'll have. And that just wasn't the story for me. I noticed in pockets of my life that when I slowed down, I actually had more success. When I did things my way, I had more success. And I felt a lot of shame around that too. Why is it that when I take a break, I actually see better results? And for me, prioritizing that rest and learning a little bit more about my projector self helped me to really see how important it was for me to take that time. I ask you this, for those of you who are hustle and bustle all the time, do your ideas come to you when you're driving or when you're in the shower? There's a reason for that. If your ideas are only coming to you or when you put your head on your pillow at night and you're just like, why does my brain race so much when I put my head on the pillow? It's probably because you've just been going all the time, that your brain can't keep up. It's like, hey, I have all these really cool ideas for you and I want to share them and I want you to see, all these things that you have in your brain, but you haven't looked up from your phone once. You haven't slowed down enough for me to even give you an idea. So I got to find my time, which is typically when you're driving in the car, in the shower, or about to hit the pillow, right? That's when I was saying all my ideas, the shower. And you'd have to run out of the shower and hopefully write it down on a piece of paper or wake up in the middle of the night and write a dream that you just had down. And that was the only time I was getting my ideas. And if that's what's happening to you too, I challenge you to slow down a little. I actually wrote down a couple little things today that I thought might help you to slow down if you really struggle with it, because I'm working with a client on this right now and I know she'll be listening to this. And what's really special about this person is that as she's starting to see the power in slowing down, she's starting to see more success. And I know this isn't the truth for everyone. So if you're someone who loves to go, loves a full schedule, loves to be busy, by all means, go for it. Do you do you. It's all about being you, right? This podcast is all about being yourself. But for me, I really noticed a huge shift in who I am and in my stress and in my anxiety when I slowed down. And a couple of the things that I started to do when I did that, because it was really freaking awkward for me. And even now, I still kind of struggle with it. Talking about slowing down today is still kind of weird because, again, we live in a culture that glorifies being busy. But the interesting thing about that is that if we could shift that and glorify rest, we have this, momentum of self-care. And often we think of that as, the bubble baths and all the things and buying yourself something nice, which don't get me wrong, buy yourself something nice, treat yourself. But I really think rest and self-care goes hand in hand. Getting sleep, eating your best, moving your body in a way that feels good, taking time for you, slowing down when you have to slow down is actually the key components of self-care. That being said, I totally lost my train of thought and where my head was going with that. Anybody else? And I slept really good last night. I won't lie to you. But anyways, the three things that I wanted to talk to you about if you're feeling really awkward about slowing down and you try it, my girls who meditate, I feel you. And you're just like, oh, this is so freaking weird. It feels that way with slowing down too. And you start to hit the brake a little bit and it feels just so uncomfortable because you're so used to going all the time. These are a couple of things that you can do to kind of ease into a little bit of a slower day. The first thing I call is the nothing pocket. You take 10 minutes, set it on your watch, set it on your phone, set a timer, tell Alexa to put 10-minute timer on for you, whatever it is that you need, and do nothing. Nothing. Not even journal, not even meditate, nothing. And it's going to feel really, really awkward. I still feel really awkward doing it, but your brain's going to finally have a moment to catch up. Your brain's going to actually have some time to hang out with you and you're going to be like, oh man, I'm actually super cool. I didn't realize that I had all these things going on up there. A 10-minute nothing pocket. Set the timer and do nothing. Do not pick up your phone. That's the biggest one because I find when I feel really awkward about slowing down or having nothing in front of me, that's the first thing I grab is my phone. So put your phone far enough away that you can't grab it, set your timer and just lay on the couch and do nothing. If you fall asleep, you fall asleep. It's not a big deal. But just do nothing for 10 minutes and try doing that every day. If that's the only moment in your day that you slow down, I call that a huge win. That's a one time throughout your whole day. That's breaking the cycle for 10 minutes just to slow down, to do nothing, to hang out. And isn't it funny that that seems weird? Maybe you're listening to this and you're like, that doesn't seem weird at all, Jess. That sounds glorious. But for a lot of people, I feel like that 10 minutes of nothing, no productivity, absolutely nothing, not even reading a book, can just really feel weird, intense, and awkward. Because we live in a culture that glorifies being productive. So I challenge you to look at that. See where in your day you can find a nothing pocket and take your 10 minutes to do absolutely nothing. And then text me. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how you feel about it. Because I've noticed that my brain can sometimes really race in those 10 minutes, but it also can find a lot of peace because it's not being distracted by anything else. I'm not scrolling on my phone. I'm not reading a book. I'm not distracting myself with anything. I'm just hanging out with me, doing nothing. And it feels weird, but it really is the greatest gift you can give yourself. A couple of the other things I had on my list was take one thing off your schedule, like one thing. If you were to look at your Google Calendar right now, or whatever calendar you use, paper or whatever, look at it. And if it's so full that you're just like overwhelmed, and instantly when you look at it, you just say, holy, I don't know how I'm going to get through this week, or I can't wait for Friday because your week is so busy. Just take one thing off it. One thing off. It could be even going to the gym one day. Maybe you sleep in one day instead of going to the gym. Or you look at your schedule and there's just one meeting that really you're not looking forward to. You don't really have to be there, but you feel like you should be there. Yeah, take that one off the list. Take one thing off your calendar. Maybe it's even going grocery shopping. Do the grocery pickup. Hire someone to do the cleaning. Take one thing off your calendar this week. And see how that feels. See how doing less might actually help you to feel a little better. And maybe, again, it feels awkward to ask for help, asking someone to pick up the kids or, asking someone to pick up the groceries, whatever it is. Asking for help in some way and taking one thing off your schedule is going to feel really uncomfortable. But the more we do it, just like the nothing pocket, the better it's going to feel. I promise you, the more efficient you're going to feel, the more productive you're going to feel by taking time off of your schedule. Taking some things off and doing something for you. And then the last one I have on my list is setting better boundaries. This time around, one thing I really learned when it came to the retreat, how important it was for me to have a good set of boundaries around my time and my energy. And I feel 100 times better, 100 times better, yeah, going into this retreat, my second retreat, than I did the first one. And of course, I have a better, handle on things. I know what I need to do because I've done it once before. But I think a big piece of that came from setting better boundaries, making sure I have my cup filled so that I can walk into this weekend with the best energy that I have. Setting boundaries with my sleep, prioritizing what's important, not feeling bad for taking rest and taking breaks, or maybe being on social media less so that I can be more present in real life, in person, and at this retreat that we have coming up on the weekend. And I think that I'm going to be a better host because I've set better boundaries when it comes to my energy around the retreat. So I'd love to know what is a boundary for you. What's a non-negotiable? Do you have any? Or are you just a free-for-all people pleaser saying yes to everything? Because if you are, I have a book suggestion for you, one that changed my whole life when it came to people pleasing and saying yes to everything and just like not having really strict boundaries, which I do have right now in place, especially around the retreat, because I want to be the best version of myself for these women who are showing up. And if you're like, I don't know what this retreat is that you're talking about, it is the second Selfish Confidence Retreat. And we are going to have 2 every year, spring and fall. There'll be another one coming up in the fall. And if you stay tuned, next week there might be a bit more information on when the next one is. But for right now, I'm focusing solely on this weekend and the girls who are coming up and traveling from all over to be a part of this and to really connect with them and be a part of this because there's something really special about being in person together, and I'm really excited about it. So I hope that you find some time to slow down for yourself today, that you make a pocket for you, a nothing pocket, that you take something off your schedule, and that you set some better boundaries around your energy because you deserve it. We don't have to be hustling all the time. We don't have to be busy all the time. We just have to be ourselves and know that that's enough. So I love you. Don't forget you're enough today and do something for you. I'm so freaking proud of you.
What's up, sis? I am so glad we could hang out today. If you love this episode, send it to a friend or share it on your social media and tag me so I can personally thank you for helping me sprinkle some confidence in the world. And don't forget, you are magic. Let's show the world your shine.